Good morning, scholars. Welcome back to the channel. This morning we're going to be looking at profit and loss percent at the grade 4 level. What do we mean by profit? What do we mean by loss? So a profit is extra that's earned, and it can mean any material thing as well as non-material things. Once it's something that is gained, it's a profit. In mathematical terms, however, we usually refer to money when we're talking about profit or loss. Money that is gained, extra money that is gained, or money that is lost. When we're including percentage profit and loss, so we're not just talking about profit or loss, but percentage profit, percentage loss. So we actually have to work out that percent first, and then if it's a profit, we would add that to the original amount. If it's a loss, we would subtract. Now, if you don't know how to work percentages, there are videos that were done explaining how to work percentage. But basically, a percent is an amount out of 100. Right? So if we're saying 30% of an amount, we're saying 30 over 100 times the amount. 10% of an amount, 10 over 100 times the amount. So you would work out the percent, and then if it's a profit, add that to the original money. If it's a loss, subtract it from the original money. So let's go through some problems. We have 5 problems on the board that we're going to go through. The first one says, Sharon bought a suit for $860 and she resold it to make a profit of 10%. How much did she sell it for? So sometimes people buy things to sell them back. Right? So you go to the corner store, the wholesale, the supermarket, all these merchants, they buy things from the manufacturer or from whichever retailer, wholesaler, depending on their position in the chain. But they buy things from someone else to sell it back to the consumer. And the way that they earn their money is by adding a little extra to the costs. That's how they earn their profits. So businesses exist to make profits, right? If you buy it for a certain amount of money and you're just going to sell it back for that same money, you will not make a profit and you cannot stay in business, because how will you get money for your own salary, to pay your bills that the business is operating on? You need to pay for the light and the water and pay your workers and all of that. So companies, businesses are able to take care of the operation, the daily operations, pay their workers, and make some profit for the business by adding extra money to the goods that they sell or to the services that they offer. So businesses are there to make profit. Now Sharon, she's just selling one item. Some people do that, right? They might buy something because they know a small group of people might have a need for these things, and so they sell it back. But they're going to sell it at a profit. They want to make a little extra of it. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense. They wouldn't earn anything on the effort that they put in to go and get the thing. They had to pay bus fare to go, or whatever transportation they had to pay, and energy was put out to get the thing, right? So they need to be compensated for all of that. So she bought the suit for $860. She's selling it back to someone, but she wants to make a little extra money off it. So she wants to make a profit of 10%. The first thing we're going to do then is work out what is 10% of $860. That's the very first thing we need to do. So we find 10% off $860. And this is just a regular fraction. We know that when we're multiplying and we have zeros, we can actually cross through the zeros in pairs, which really means we're dividing by 10. So we can cross through that zero with a zero at the top. We can cross through that zero with that one. It has to be in pairs, and it has to be a zero at the top with a zero at the bottom. And remember, it's not that we're just getting rid of the zeros. What we're actually doing is dividing the numbers by 10. That's what we're really doing. So what we're left with then is $86. So what this says is 10% of $860 is $86. This is the profit that she's going to make. This is the extra money she's going to make. How much should she sell the suit for? She has to sell it for what she bought it for, plus the extra that she wants to make, the profit. So she has to sell the suit for $946. So she can make an extra $86 for herself, right? To compensate herself for whatever costs or effort she put in to obtain the suit. She wants to make a little profit when she sell it back. So she has to sell it for $946 if she wants to make an extra $86. Because remember, the $860 out of this came from her money that she bought the suit for. So that's not part of her profit. She paid that for the suit with her money. So she's making back her money that she invested. Remember, it says a profit is when you gain something extra from an investment. An investment is what you put into something. The money you put in, the effort you put in, the skills that you put in, right? And a loss is when you lose something from an investment. So if you make an investment, if you put money into something, put effort into something, put your skills and your time into something, and you end up getting less than what you put in, that's a loss. Alright, so let's look at number 2 then. A shopkeeper buys a loaf of bread for $4 and sells it to make a profit of 25%. So when you go to the shop, remember, they're not selling back the things for the money that they paid for it, or it wouldn't make sense. They wouldn't be able to earn anything and to pay their bills and their workers. So they have to charge you a little extra on each thing. So on the loaf of bread, the shopkeeper is making a 25% profit extra. So the first thing we need, before we can figure out how much he needs to sell the bread for, we need to find out how much is 25% of $4. Because that is going to be the extra money, that's going to be the profit. So let's work out 25% of $4. Now you should know how to divide by 25. It's pretty easy. You should know that there are 4 25s in 100. Right? 25, 50, 75, 100. It's easy to count in groups of 25. So we can reduce this. We could, if we didn't know how to divide by 25, we could start by dividing both of them by 5. And then we'd have to reduce again by 5. But since we know that there are 4 25s in 100, we can just say 25 goes into itself once and into 100 4 times. And then this 4 can cancel that one. So 4 into itself once, 4 into itself once. So 25% of $4 is $1. The shopkeeper is going to make a profit of $1. So how much should he sell it for? So he has to sell it for the $4 that he paid for it, plus the $1 profit extra. So he has to sell the bread for $5 if he wants to make a profit of $1. The 25% of the $4 is $1. He wants to make a 25% profit because he's saying he had to get up and go to the wholesale maybe miles away, pay bus fare. It took him time to go and buy the bread and other stuff, and probably had to pay to get them back in, right? So he can't charge you the same amount that he paid for the bread. He has to add some extra on it, and he needs to earn his salary too, because that's his job, right? So he's putting some extra money on each thing that he's selling, so at the end of the day, he can earn his keep. So he's making an extra $1 on every loaf of bread that he sells. He buys them for $4 each, he sells them back for $5, he's making a profit of $1 on each loaf of bread. Number 3, the toys that were damaged in the store were each sold at a loss. This time it's a loss. The first 2 were profit, so they were gaining extra money. This time this person is losing because there was damage. So usually if you're selling things that are damaged in some way, you have to sell it at less than what you paid for it. That's just how it goes, because nobody's going to buy a damaged thing for the price that a wholesome thing is being sold for, right? So sometimes as business persons, they have to take that loss. They have to say, you know what? It's just part of the whole business. This thing got damaged. It's better I try and sell it for less than I'm stuck with it and can't sell it for anything. So he's saying these toys got damaged by some means in the store. He's going to get a loss of 8%, right? And he had bought them for $200. So if he's making a loss of 8%, how much should he sell each one for? He's going to end up selling it for less than what he paid for it, but that's just part of business. They are damaged. He can't ask the same price for them or make a profit off them. Nobody's going to want to buy damaged goods for the same price. So we need to find out how much is 8% of $200. Again, we can cancel zeros in pairs. We have 2 at the top, we can cancel 2 down the bottom. What we're really doing is dividing by 100. We're not working any magic here. When we're crossing through zeros like that, we are dividing by powers of 10. That's what we're doing. So we're left with 8 times 2, which is 16. So we're saying 8% of $200 is $16. He's going to lose $16 from his investment. So so this time we have to subtract. When it's a loss, we subtract. Right? When it's a loss, we have to subtract. So do our regular process of subtraction. So he has to sell it for $184. That's just how life goes, right? The toys are damaged. He paid $200 for them, for each one, but he has to sell each one for $184 because they're damaged. So he's suffering a loss. That's a part of business. Number 4, calculate the selling price of a house that was bought for $300,000 and is being sold to make a profit of 20%. Now, many times people buy houses just to sell them back after a while to make a huge profit. Right? So people go into real estate, we call that real estate. When you buy houses or land to sell back, and you usually make a big profit because the price of houses pretty much, for the most part, are usually increasing, right? Unless something devastating happens in the economy and the prices plunge. But on a regular day, the price of real estate is going up. So this person bought the house for $300,000 and will sell back the house to make a profit, to make some extra of 20%. So again, we need to find out first what is 20% of 300,000, and then we're going to add that to the 300,000 to see how much he's going to sell it for. So 20% 20 over 100 times the 300,000. These two zeros cancel these two, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros, and 3, 2, 6. So 60,000 is 20% of 300,000. And we are going to add that now to the 300,000 to see how much this person must sell the house for. $360,000. So the house was bought for 300,000, is being sold for 360,000. They are making a profit of $60,000. And the last problem here this morning for profit and loss, if I am giving a discount of 15% on an item that I paid $100 for, how much should I sell the item for? So I'm giving a discount. When you're giving a discount, you're actually losing because you're offering the thing for less than you normally be selling it for. That's a discount, right? So let's find out what's 15% of the $100, and then we're going to subtract it because a discount is a loss. So 15% of the $100, and the 100 cancels itself out. So 15% of $100 is $15, and we're going to subtract 15 from 100. And we're left with $85. So you're selling back this item for $85 even though you paid $100 for it, or you're normally selling it for $100, right? So just remember, a profit is extra. And usually in maths, when we say profit, we're talking about money, or at least an amount. So it's the amount, the extra amount that's gained from an investment. And a loss is the opposite. It's an amount that you lose after making an investment. Percentage profit and loss, we first have to work out how much is that percent profit, how much is that percent loss. And then for the profit, we'd add that extra to the original amount. If it's a loss, we'll subtract that from the original amount. Right? If you have benefited from this video, just drop a word or two just to say thank you, miss, for the effort. If you have profited from the video, right? I hope you have profited from watching this video. And just click share so others may profit as well. If you would like me to do a video on a particular topic, just let me know and I'll certainly do that for you. And I'd love for you to subscribe if you have not already done so. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, my scholars.